That means you did not hear me sing the countdown there. Well, looks like Lemon Pie has helped me diagnose audio issues twice this week. But jokes aside, it's good to see Lemon Pie and us and James. But I'm not even kidding. So like on Monday night, and I guess we'll just like start with this topic. On Monday night, I joined Stark of Iron on his Monday show. It was actually his Saturday matinee on Monday. I got a quick audio test. Let me know if you guys can hear me when I mute my sound. Did you hear me cough out loud? Because I did not check my audio input settings after rebooting, and I had to reboot my computer because apparently I had a return of that crash, but I think I solved it. But let's talk about the audio. So basically, long story short, it was the audio interface right here. So we have like a input gain for the XLR port. Pardon the mess on my desk. I'll clean it for next week, I promise. Probably, maybe. But I better not promise. Anyway, yeah, so basically this was on a 5 or 6. I think it was on a 7, but this has to be on like a 9.6. If you have it higher than a 9.8, good. You didn't hear the cough. Okay, that's good. The mute button was not being bypassed. So if this is above a 9.8, it's too loud. If it's below a 9, it's like below, it's too low. Although with the preamp I'm using, you can indeed hear audio when I'm doing that. So anyway, what happened was that was too low. So it didn't matter what settings I changed in StreamYard or OBS, it was just going to be too low. And this was an issue since last Wednesday. So when Lemon Pie confirmed it, and I knew, I thought it was going insane, but when Lemon Pie confirmed it, I was like, oh, that is what, it is. It's got to be the master gain. Why didn't I check that first? So I checked it. I was like, oh, it was really low. I probably lowered it when I was lowering my headphones a week ago. And that's how we got here. Now let me just double check some stuff. Okay, good. We're good. So anyway, looks like Wade has a link that I might just click on. But I do want to give a shout out to Snowdub, who is presently streaming it. And I would say you guys should watch Snowdub. I mean, you can watch both. In fact, I would say you guys should watch both programs if you can. But real quick, I'm going to open up YouTube Studio because I usually monitor YouTube Studio to make sure if I play a video, it doesn't trigger the copyright. But anyway, now that the audio levels are back where they should be, the master input gain is good. The result is that my audio filters work properly because they're pretty much like, tuned to accept the volume levels as they are now. Okay, there we go. Good. I just want to make sure I have the stream here. And so the thumbnail for tonight is actually the rings of Saturn. And we'll take a look at those in a moment. We can actually, we'll open up Space Engine. And if the stream crashes, I'll open up my phone. But I'm assuming that it's a thermal issue because I'm noticing I get high temperatures on my NVIDIA Quadro. And that thing has a single slot heatsink. I also noticed that, well, now my GPU is running cooler than it did before, so that's good. My main GPU is running cool. My Quadro is running a little toasty. And Wade has a sale coming up. See the hyperlink above. And and I'll open it up at some point. Which is why I opened up the studio dashboard so we can do that. And maybe next week we'll have the I might start going back to doing the old chat thing where I used to use the YouTube chat because it's easy to present thumbnails. Certain thumbnails don't show up on the Restream overlay or on the Restream chat. So, we might play around. But yeah, this is pretty cool. So this is a battery-powered, charges off of USB blower. And it's a good alternative to dust off. I was going to buy some CO2 cartridges, or like buy a CO2 inflator for my bike and use that as a duster, but then they had these other setups where it's like a pipe, it's a tube that you use for clearing drains. It's like a HVAC. It's like for use with a HVAC. What? I'll get it later. Oh, and actually, I don't know if this is going to crash the computer, but I did say I was going to do a lesson on how to stream in a superior manner. So we might touch on that real quick because, might as well do that because I don't want to open up Space Engine until, you know, I'm ready to crash the computer. Even though it didn't crash at all last night. After I dusted it, it did not crash. So anyway, yeah, so that was no problem. Number one was that my audio was low on Stark's channel, and that was easily rectified once I, you know, found the knob. So special thanks to Lemon Pie. Then the second issue was my computer crashed like 4 times that night. First, like 3 times, I hit the power button, I hold it down for like 5 seconds, let it turn off completely. You know, I got like 4 hard drives in RAID 10 plus a removable hard disk drive and a hot swap bay. In fact, I now have 2 identical hot swap bays. Looks very stylish. But anywho, and I do have room for a 3rd hot swap bay, but I might leave that empty for either airflow, because having an empty 5 1/4 bay does give us good airflow, or I might put another Blu-ray drive in there. But anyway, you know, you let the drive spin down. Because back in the 80s, back in the 90s, if you had if you turn off a computer and turned it on too soon, some hard drives would start to make this noise, because, you know, the read-write head would go into the park position. But if you started, like, you know, spinning it up while it was in the middle of parking, the stepper motor or the voice coil actuator would kind of get stuck somehow, and it would make this like, you know, and there were early hard drives back in the day when they would do the spin up. I don't even know what generated the noise, I'm guessing, but maybe it's the main motor. But when you turn on an old, certain types of older hard drives, they would make this noise as they're spinning up. And if you turned it off and on too quickly, that noise would just keep going. And I'd imagine, you know, I've never ruined a hard drive with that noise, but I also was pretty quick to turn off the computer when it made that noise. You know, you don't want to, you know, like, go out of your way to ruin it. If you hear suspicious noise, might as well turn it off, wait a few seconds, turn it on. So that's what you do. I hold the power button down. I wait for the noise of the drive to go, you know, which they don't make that noise. They kind of spin down and make a little, you know, and then I turn it back on, and it worked. And my theory as to why it kept crashing after that was, if the first crash was due to heat, and I'm only turning it off for about 10 seconds, then there's no chance for that heat to dissipate. Now, I figured the heat was a result of me opening up Space Engine while streaming, and so, you know, you had like a block of heat buildup in there. At this point now, I did 2 things to mitigate the thermal issue, because I think it was the GPU. One of the GPUs was overheating. I don't think it was the CPU overheating. So what I did was, just now was, I mean, I dusted it last night, but apparently I didn't dust it thoroughly enough, or there's a little bit more to it. Might be a completely different issue. But my screen froze, which that's what happens. Like, first the screen, all of my screens will freeze up. Music will keep playing, and then at some point the screens might go black, or the music might stop playing, but somewhere after that, the computer would reboot automatically if I wasn't home. So we did a cool trick here. This is actually something that, if you have a laptop and you want to extend the battery life on your laptop, you might like this. So in Windows 7, the power options look a lot like this. And if you, you know, go and you open up the power settings in Windows 10, it might look a little different. So, like, let's try it out. We're going to go to the Start menu. We're going to go to the left side of my desktop. We're going to type in the word power. Oops, I closed it. This ain't even my main screen. Even though it's my main screen, it's not my main screen. Anyway, you type the word power and sleep settings, right? You type the word power into the Start menu. You open up this. You get this window over here. But if you can see up here, it says additional power options. And when you click on this, it's going to open up this window. Now, once you're in here, you can see you got different profiles. I got high performance. I got high performance Z. For our Canadian friends out there, that would be high performance Z. And I didn't know what Z was until the first time I saw Stargate Atlantis, and Rodney McKay called a ZPM 0-point module a ZPM. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, I didn't even know that was a thing for like years, until years later, because I was Googling ZPM and I realized, oh no, this is a ZPM, and Canadians just say it kind of funny. So anyway, by default, you'll typically see high performance, balanced, and power saver. And on a laptop, power saver will do just that. Now, to really customize these settings, you click change plan settings, and it opens up another window. Actually, it opens up this page, which only lets you control superficial stuff like when to turn off your screen and when to put the machine to sleep. But if we click over here, change advanced power settings, we get another window, and this is essentially the older, well, not older, this was available from as early back as Windows Vista. And I just noticed I got to turn on my camera, but we could do that later. You know, I just want to make sure I'm on camera because my vanity demands it. No, I'm joking, but that's a different topic. But that's the OBS filter, by the way, that enables the talking guy in the corner, all of these, and I have 9 scenes that use it, so I have to have 18 instances of the bloody filter. Really wild. But we're just going to turn on the one on my bottom main monitor. Which one? Let's just turn them all off. I don't think there's a keyboard shortcut for doing this. I wonder if there's like a plugin that would like toggle select multiple plugins at once. So that would be a nice to have feature. Okay, and then we have to actually turn off the remaining image like that. And then I got to do that in all of my scenes. I got to turn off the guy here. There we go. And then we got to do it here. Here. Oops, wrong one. Go back. Multi-monitor. We're going to turn it off here. We're going to turn it off here. Oops, that's not it. That's it. And we'll figure out the rest later on if we're missing anything. But I think we got most of our bases covered. I'll just kind of turn on the camera as we go along if we need to. In fact, we got to turn on the matrix camera because we need to have the cheesy, campy. Honestly, I think I'm going to keep it like this. I used to have the matrix numbers behind me or like a little hexadecimal or whatever it was, binary. But we're going to keep the oval like this. I like it. So getting back to the thing I was talking about. So yeah, when you get these power options on your screen, you're going to scroll down to processor power management. And I don't think minimum processor state does anything. I mean, at least nothing that I can visibly see, but maximum does. And this is the wild thing I learned. If we look at the task manager while we're manipulating this, you're going to see something kind of interesting, at least if you're a nerd. So here we go. CPU. Notice my CPU's clock frequency. Its base speed is 3.6, but Intel CPUs of this era have a turbo boost, and anytime you're doing anything that uses a lot of CPU, it'll throttle up beyond that. Excuse me, I might be having a little cold there. Anyway, so if we, let's say, put it to 100% briefly, because I don't want to keep it there. Now it goes straight to the turbo of 4.7. But watch what happens when I set it to 99. This is kind of cool. Not only does it go down to like, okay, so 100% would technically be 3.6 gigahertz. So it's 100% before it uses the turbo, before it does its little overclocking routine. But if I hit 100%, it basically sees that as automatic permission to go kick in the turbo. If I set it to 99%, it, not only does it no longer engage the turbo, but it goes 1% slower. At least that's, from what I can figure, that's what it's doing basically. Now, of course, this is not a perfectly accurate meter. I use another app to monitor my clock speed, and that app is reporting a similar speed. But bottom line is, if you set it to 99%, you'll get pretty good performance, right? And you'll prevent your computer from engaging the turbos. So if it's overheating, that's what you do. And I actually figured this out, or really found a good way to use it when I had my backyard PC doing some video encoding and it kept overheating and rebooting itself. I realized all I got to do is turn off the turbo, because I don't lose a lot of, speed when encoding a video. I lose like maybe it goes from 40 frames down to 30 frames a second, but it's like, that's acceptable. So bottom line is that, yeah, just lowering it to 99% disables the turbo, and most likely will keep the CPU temperature more than manageable. And then we can decide to lower it even more if we so desire. But for now, we're going to keep it on that setting. And we're going to close the task manager. Actually, no, we're going to put the task manager on the right side monitor. And we're going to take a look at the chat while we maybe pull up some SpaceX videos or something. Because I do want to see some Rocket Prawn tonight. I think that would be great. And the link that I clicked on, by the way, was from Real Wade Gaming Nation. It's right over here. It's in the chat if you scroll up, or he'll probably post it again. You're welcome to do that, Wade. And yeah, so that's what that link opens up. And I do want to say hello to Jose Lopez. I hope you're doing well, man. It's good to see you, bud. And that's the wrong button. Let's go back to the main camera for now. And let's see here, real quick catch up here. Oh, I never checked into the chat delay, Slim, although I don't know if it's that significant. I mean, oh yeah, I guess I could do it on the phone. We'll do that on the phone. We'll do a test. How many of you know how the Dewey Decimal System actually works? Raise your hand. No, I don't, but I can tell you how Delaney cards work. I gotta one day Google that and see. I think I did Google it one day when I was bored at work. But I believe there's a teacher named Delaney, or it might have been the ones from Star Trek Voyager, the Delaney sisters. And the Delaney sisters, you know, were like, oh, we'll invent this. And then they were like, oh, we'll give you credit for it. No royalties, I'm sure. Slimming him. Hi, my amazing friend. Hey, what up, Metal Storm? Great seeing you, buddy. It's good to see you, my amazing friend. I gave you a like, my amazing friend. Much love to you, bro. It's nice to meet everyone in the chat. Yeah, we got cool people in the chat, and you know, I tell you, I'm motivated to end this stream early just to get Jolly, you know, some viewers on a raid because my friend Jolly Snowdub, his channel's name is streaming, and I would have maybe done a stream like an hour earlier to avoid, you know, any issue. Because right now we got Snacks and Rudolph on right now. This is really cool. And apparently the way I'm throttling my CPU is making that a little slower maybe. Let's see here. Okay, I just pressed the switch scene button. So that's 2, 3, 4. Wow, Slim, you're right. The frickin' thing is massively delayed. I'm going to be doing some test streams this weekend. Possibly even after I eat my pizza. I'm going to do some test streams and see if we can like, oh, his stream is over. Good, okay, I don't have to worry about competing with him. But I do feel bad. I'll have to watch the replay on Jolly's stream. But, yeah, it's over. It ended 5 minutes ago. Maybe Jolly ended his stream for me. Maybe he was like, oh, DJ's, you know, streaming. I better end the stream. Oh, I shouldn't be showing the Twitter chat on the screen when I do that. That's not good privacy management. But next topic, we'll go maybe look at some mean tweets real quick. If you want to pop in streaming, I would have a little later if I had checked. Remembered your hump day stream was on. There we go. And where's Snacks? If Snacks wants to get in, he could. Well, Snacks could hit me up. I think he knows I'm streaming late. I know he's got to open for work or something like that, so I'm not gonna bother him right now. But he, you know, I mean, I got a couple of people I invited, but sometimes, you know, timetables, you reply like an hour after they message you and they don't see the message. It happens. So next week we might have a little extravaganza because this is the new day. We are doing the Monday show on Wednesday. Oh wow, I don't even know how to decipher that tweet, but we do have some funny tweets. So let's close the private message window and let's take a look at what we got here. So if we look over, oops, wrong one. All right. If we look over here, you can see someone sent me, Irate the Specialist sent me a video of a turtle skateboarding. Floral really wants me to have a turtle skateboard, and I'm kind of like, I tried it. That's a larger skateboard, I think. No, he's a small turtle, or she. My Poffy is just way too big. My Squirtle is way too big. My Londo, the tortoise, he might be able to do it, but there is a trick. You gotta, like, sometimes you have to glue it, not glue it, but tape it or glue it or use a gummy eraser in order to get it to adhere to the turtle's belly, which is called a plastron. A plastron, like, in fact, just like in baseball, that's what the catcher wears. So yeah, there's that. Now, we had some back and forth on Twitter because I forgot how it started, but oh yeah, this crazy lady was saying how she's gonna get an IUD for her daughter because of reproductive rights. And it was like, well, shouldn't you like be encouraging your daughter to, like, you know, I don't know, do other things, other forms? I mean, like, is abortion I don't even want to talk about it too much, but bottom line is that, I guess if I had to say it in a nutshell, you know, the idea was people argue that you shouldn't use that procedure that people were worried about being banned as a alternative to birth control. And I'm not really like too obsessed with it. You know, it's like on one angle, like I'm not really, you know, like coming from the religious angle, you know, so whether, you know, I essentially am not in favor of abortion, but legally speaking, it's like, I'm kind of okay with doing it like up to a certain point, you know, and whereas most religious people are like, they have zero tolerance for that, like up to like the zygote, even at the early zygote stage, they're not with it at all. or even before that sometimes, if there's even a stage before that. And then you got, folks who are on the opposite end of the spectrum. They want to do it up to the last month. And it's like, it was never illegal to do a medically necessary procedure to begin with. And I did some research on this. That's a whole rabbit hole. If anybody wants me to talk about that, maybe just leave me a comment with a dot after the stream, and I will happily expand on it on Rumble. But I don't really want to taint my YouTube, content base or any of that with this topic. I think it's highly controversial. I think that, I don't want to really trigger anybody, and I'm not an expert. I'm not a woman. But really, I guess what it comes down to in a nutshell, I'm actually more concerned about the women, like in this case, like in individual women, because the problem with that type of procedure is it's not just magic, like you do have some scarring. It can have an impact on your body. So it's not fair to conflate the medically necessary procedures that save a person's life with the elective procedure, where it's like more of a alternative to BC. And I get it. If you discovered your, prego a little bit too late, okay, fair enough. Like I'm not the one paying for adoption or any of that stuff. You're the one as a woman, if you choose to get the procedure, who has to live with yourself. And if you're comfortable living with yourself, I'm okay with you doing it. But I'm not necessarily okay with you revamping the law so that anybody can just do it up to the final month without a reason to do it outside of, I forgot. Like, I'd be okay with this if the government or Planned Parenthood or government-funded Planned Parenthood to give every woman free pregnancy tests for like 9 months. And this is where the tweets come in. Like, not 9 months, like for 5 days a week. Let's say you get a free pregnancy test 5 days a week, anytime, every day. And so it's like, if you get pregnant, like number one, once you get laid, you should be testing. It's like, especially if the government's giving you free tests. And I'm talking like, let the government mail the freaking things to you. Like I want it, we got to, offer alternatives. So the alternative would be like mail. Well, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but like have a program where you get people who can't afford the tests, or people who just don't want to pay for them can get them delivered, or something convenient where they can pick them up for free, have them 5 days a week. And if, let's say, people say, oh, but it doesn't always come up accurate. It's like, okay, well, look, if you do the test multiple times after you get laid, and like it comes up positive twice in a given week, and like 3 weeks in a row, it's coming up positive twice every week. At that point, maybe go see the doctor, It's like, you got laid recently. You might as well get it checked out while it's still legally permissible to get it done in any state. And then take it from there. But like the medically necessary one, it's usually presented in a pretty disingenuous manner. And I'm not here to argue with people like, what media organizations are correct or not. But it's just generally, like, I looked into there was a case of a woman who, died after 20 hours because the allegation in the article was the doctors waited 20 hours to perform the procedure. And it turned out there was more to it. It was like her state didn't allow abortion after 6 weeks. So the young lady went to a neighboring state where it was legal to get the medicine, the chemical abortion, I guess you call it. It's just a medicine, it's not really medicine, but it's a drug that terminates the pregnancy. But this young lady was pregnant with twins, and that already sounds complicated. So she needed a DNC, a dilation and curette, I think it's called. Don't quote me on that. I might be mispronouncing that word. And that was where, like, they waited 20 hours. So I'd see it more as a condemnation on the doctors or the hospital, unless they specifically delayed because they were afraid of some legal thing. They might have been afraid to do the procedure because of the complexity of it. They might have had to get a special OBGYN into the hospital to help out with that. But it's just like, I understand that if I try to argue with the person who shared the article with me, or just try to, not even argue, just kind of present it as I understood it after doing more thorough research, it would end up being circular. So that's kind of like an exercise in futility. And at the same time, okay, I was just checking the audio delay on my phone. At the same time, how do I phrase it? I just want to make sure I don't want to, say anything. I'm not trying to make, jokes of it or anything like that. I just want to try to be accurate, Well, I mean, I think I said enough on the topic. I don't want to, inadvertently talk in circles, but hope I don't bother anybody with this topic. I will now terminate. Wow. Okay. Pun not intended, but I am getting a light chuckle from saying that. Pun Yeah. So yeah, bottom line is, yeah, we're going to terminate that topic and move forward. So anyway, let's see what the chat's talking about here. What up, Iceman? And it's good to see DJ Play Nice. It's good to see Wade. Maybe I'll have you pop in. Might need you to fluff the chat. I do want to end it still an hour-ish, you know, like an hour after I started because of whatever. But I put the oven on a timer that kind of help. I'm 17 subs away from 100. Yep. Consider subscribing to Jose Lopez. He's if I can open his channel, I will post the link. But yeah. Or make a custom one that's slightly wider and longer depending on the turtle. Yes, yes. So maybe 3D print. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Curtis YZ. Reacts. That's actually helpful in changing the topic and talking about the lovely turtle. So yeah, you know, I can maybe 3D print something, maybe attach the wheels from the skateboard. That was another issue. Now that you mention it, I do have a skateboard in here. I had a skateboard in here. I don't know what a skateboard is anymore. All right, we're not going to find it right now. Oh, but I did find some Nintendo games, but not the ones I'm looking for. As the people in Star Wars say, these are not the Nintendo games you're looking for. Right. Sorry about that. Maybe if you sand down the lips of the deck, that's a good idea. Sand down the board a little bit. Okay, so we got options here. Slimming, I was always told that Metal Storm is also a name of a skill in Borderlands. Interesting. 24/5 every day. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, oops, I clicked away too soon. I think differently to you, because I think AB is unacceptable in any case. And I agree, but I guess I'm trying to compromise. I know it's like I'm compromising by saying let's murder. Because I mean, let's call a spade a spade. And I think that the only area where I would ask you to reconsider would be in cases where genuinely medically necessary. But once again, when it's presented in media, when it's presented in online debates, it's usually there's some, you know, some kind of embellishment. And like I remember seeing one of the arguments I saw two people having amongst each other on Reddit. Hey, what up, Stark? Good to see you, Tony. Oh, you want to hop in? If you want to hop in, you know, I'm looking to aim at like end it at like 11:45 probably, but you're welcome to pop in. Let me know. As long as my computer don't crash. No. But whatchamacallit. Actually, if my computer crashes, you can tend the chat while I reload or turn on my phone, log into my phone. But you know, like I said, like I look into these things, and it's often articles presented a fallacious argument. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll debate with somebody who's like-minded with me, but I'll sort of play devil's advocate. And it's interesting because they'll go and give me the arguments that I'm already aware of, and it's like I try to explain to them, I'm not here to have a circle jerk. I'm trying to present it from the perspective of someone who disagrees with us, because if we're going to make any inroads in proposing an alternative compromise that we find less reprehensible than the one I just named earlier, then, or the nature of the one I named earlier, then we need to get in the heads. We need to understand where our intellectual opponents are coming from. And it's much easier with climate change. I mean, climate change is like a tough one. Like, you want to see a rabbit hole, you go to the climate change Reddit page. I think there's some nice people on there, but the problem is, I'm going to open it up right now because I do want to show you what I'm talking about. Reddit/r/climate change. Is I posted a post basically proposing let's find middle ground, and people were like, oh, well, it's like saying let's find middle ground on the flat earth. And it's like, yeah, I can empathize if they're coming from, but they haven't really presented like data in a meaningful way. Like, it's all over the place. I find debates with climate change, and it's like, yes, people on the right have, you know, are perceived as moving the goalposts, because a lot of them do. Like, you know, there was a time where it went from outright being like climate change is bullshit to being it's real, but it's always been here. And that's actually pretty accurate in general. But then, of course, people would say, oh, look at this graph. And I've seen so many different graphs to support climate change, and people act like that is all, you know, unfortunately, the evidence comes in from all different angles. So it's a little bit hard to like have a cohesive story tied to it, in my opinion. But like, it's just one of these things where it's like, okay, we got a graph from the Industrial Revolution, but hold on, like, did I just doubt humanity would have a strong effect that early on, stuff like that. But I think that if you're being scientific, you need to really put effort into ruling out of the causes or of the potential causes. Because I'm not here to say it's definitely the sun. I'm not here to tell you it's the geology. I'm not here to tell you it's all of the undersea volcanoes that we have yet to account for in their entirety, which is a thing. But people usually say that, oh, the ocean absorbs the CO2. That's what causes ocean acidification to some extent. But ultimately, like when people talk about consensus, you have peer review journals that you submit papers to. So if you need to get a paper or a grant to fund that research, you're not necessarily going to have an easy time getting funding to, disprove or to find, counter arguments to the more popular argument. But if you're looking to, provide more proof or more evidence or just more whatever, guess what you call it, like trending data to represent trends and put it into a study that kind of brings it all together, it's an easier time to get funding for something like that, But I'm not prepared to like outright deny it. I'm not prepared to outright get behind it because mainly I don't like the solutions being proposed, and that was that. So let's really quickly. So here's Reddit, and we're gonna look for my post, and I believe it was called Middle Ground. Here we are, genuine middle ground ? And you can read the post if you want. I'll drop the link in here if you want. Right, there we go. And some people are more reasonable, and I wasn't really prepared to like say I agree wholeheartedly with anyone, but it's like, why would you prefer a middle ground in some dumb argument over an empirical assessment of what we actually observe happening to our planet? And it's like, well, empirically, number one, like flat earthers make empirical observations. They always see everything is empirically flat. They go to a salt flat, they look at the ocean a certain way, and they're like, see, look, empirical evidence supports it. Of course, part of it is like they don't understand frames of reference when things are moving. So that's why you can see those videos where a flat earther has a picture of a stack of rocks balanced precariously on one another, being completely stationary. And it's like, well, they just don't understand that aspect of physics. They don't understand the concept of acceleration and all of that. Essentially, once you accelerate to a given speed, if you maintain that speed consistently and in space you tend to coast, then, you're not going to feel acceleration. You only feel acceleration or deceleration when you're increasing or decreasing your speed. But I don't know how we got down this topic. I didn't even mean to go down this topic rabbit hole today. But, we got some response. Some people were more kind. Others were out there. I gave pretty much upvotes to nearly everyone, or at least neutral. I didn't downvote anybody. Because, I was not trying to proselytize here. So I made that clear in the post. Because, I'm not just here to have a gotcha moment where I get people to answer my question and I go, aha, here's my response to that bullshit, dumbass. It's like, I'm not even trying to do that, It's like, I just want to get some angles, and this didn't really resolve much. A few people gave me, links to IPCC reports that was a little more helpful, although I do see it as a biased party. But, some people are cool, and I appreciate that. And I recently had more exchanges about whether EVs are more efficient than internal combustions when you include other aspects of the supply chain. And, I'm not trying to be biased about shit. So anyway, the problem with climate change theory is that no one has made a convincing case that human activity has any meaningful effect on climate. That part is all theory. And that's the thing. So, I even, got a downvote on a more recent comment where I asked along the lines of, are there any experiments that involve falsifiability? So I don't fully understand the concept of falsifiability, at least not in my own words, but the gist of it, you make an experiment that falsifies the hypothesis. And I believe it has something to do with if you change that one variable and the thing doesn't happen, and then you put back the variable and the thing that you said happens. It's something like that. Let's see if we can get it in English. So we're going to do, what is scientific falsification? What is science falsifiability? To say that a certain hypothesis is falsifiable is to say there is possible evidence that would not count as consistent with the hypothesis. That's a mouthful, isn't it? I mean, it's not complicated, just what does that mean, right? According to Popper, evidence cannot establish a scientific hypothesis. It can only falsify A scientific hypothesis is therefore falsifiable conjecture. Can we get examples? If you observe, okay, here, science is indeed about determining what isn't true rather than what is. This is, and that's the thing. So if, like, just side note, if all of the climate change people went out of their way to like disprove or falsify their angles and all of that, like really tried their darndest to disprove the angle and failed, you know, that might get my attention more, but I don't see a whole lot of that going on. And you could argue that someone could pretend to do it, but I don't care if they pretend. I just want to see a real effort of them doing it. Okay, so for example, if you observe a bunch of black geese, you can't conclude that all geese are black, but you can conclude this statement that all geese, you can conclude that, wait, but you can conclude that the statement all geese are white is false. Okay, kind of like a back, it sounds backwards. I'm not saying it is backwards, just sounds like a manner of going about it in reverse. What up, some person? Good to see you, bud. Some person's a good gentleman. Oh, I dropped my Mexican coin. I'm smelling that pizza. I might have to go to the oven. I better check if Stark sent me a message. Here's a better game for you. Someone. Try to figure out which one's the good eye. Oh, God. Oh, Slam. Hey, what up, when the Deep Cores DPS? We are definitely hanging out very soon because we are going to do some space stuff. Hell, heck, we might do some space stuff tonight. I think, okay, real quick, before I check on my pizza, because I can smell my pizza really well right now, so I'm a little worried I'm cooking it. I mean, I am cooking it, but I mean, I hope it's not toast. I think it is likely we affect at least a little, but I also think that climate fluctuates naturally, so I can't get behind it or deny it either. And once again, my exception is like, you know, even if EVs are more efficient, it's like, do we account for the battery production? Now, I get that batteries are reusable, but lithium batteries are still... you know, something that a lot of inputs go into. Or the other example would be like solar panels. And it's true that solar panels, you know, once you build them, even if you make them with coal to melt the glass in China, the reusability of solar panels should make up for that carbon output. But of course, if your house gets caught in a storm or you dispose of the solar panels early, that ought to be accounted for, because then those solar panels are not, you know, making up for it, so to speak. But I'm not really married to that position, just thought I'd put it out there. Hi, everyone in the chat. I haven't said hi to you yet, but I hope everyone is doing good. Oh, well, thank you, Metalstorm. Metalstorm's a cool cat. So, did I miss anything? Hey, what up, Salty? I just wait for the magnetic pole full of on... Okay, I just had a dirty... I was going to say something dirty just now. I'm going to just check my Twitters real quick and hit up Stark. If Stark is around. I mean, he's not under any obligation to join, but if he's here, he's welcome to join. And if Stark is unavailable to join... but does the stream after this, we will raid it. Waiting for it to load. Okay, there we are. Tony Stark, Chief Executive Officer. I know I said that really slow. Okay, in case he wants to join, he now has a hyperlink. Just like Hyperloop. Oh, we want to look up Starship Prawn, right? Yeah, we're going to look up some Starship Prawn. So, we're going to do like, we're going to do a, wait, Jolly's live again. Wait, I thought it just ended. I'm so confused. Okay, maybe I will end the stream on time. Good. Starship Falcon Super Heavy Landing. Wait, Falcon Heavy Landing. That's what she said. All right, get the chat back up. I want to see what else I'm missing here. Oh yeah, just wait for the magnetic pole full on shift. Then you'll have a real and sudden climate change and tsunamis. That is true, you know. And like, I don't trust the magnetic pole people channel, but there's other aspects that I do trust. There's trends you can see, you know, there's things you could like, you know, data you can look at. The wildest one I ever saw has nothing to do with the pole. It's, you ever hear of a group called Yaoyusa, Your Own World USA. So this is a guy who, it's like this fat guy, and he does videos about Nibiru or some shit. And I followed this for so long that the predictions have been skipped dozens of times. But what people do is they take pictures where they get lens flare, and they either manipulate the photos or they misinterpret the imagery, and they end up claiming that that's actually a second star that's orbiting really close to our star. And that's why you never see it except at particular opportune times. And then when people like look out an airplane window and they get the glare, they'll be like, oh, that's not glare from the window, because you'd have to shake the camera like this. And it's like, they always F it up. Oh my God, Pop Culture Republic is on. We're definitely ending the stream on time. Guy's a good man. I like Pop Culture Republic. I'll watch both him and Jolly at the same time. So we're going to do a little guinea pig test right over here, guys. Let's see if this works. Can you hear audio? You will now. I fixed the issue. Now you can get audio while I'm streaming, even when multiple people are present, because I use my internal sound card separately to provide sound. Trump says climate change was made up by the Chinese to affect the economy. Well, I do believe the Chinese are perfectly happy to have us, put resources into climate change while they put less into it. Although I do hear China is very on top of the whole electrification thing. But for the amount of manufacturing they do using, fossil fuels and coal, I think that kind of belies that, hey, this is not that big of an emergency. Because that's the thing, that's like the claim, is that it's a big emergency, right? So it's like, well, if it's such an emergency, then yeah, everyone's got to, cut their emissions pronto. It's like you can't just have it both ways, especially. And look, I've seen all kinds of statistics that say we produce more per capita. I've seen other angles, but no, if it's an emergency, everyone's got to cut their production emissions. But I digress. I mean, I just think it's a waste of time, money, and resources. I'm still in favor of doing things that don't put out carbon. It's not like I'm against it. I still don't mind the whole drill baby thing. I think that, people need jobs, and these are good jobs to have. And, close down the Keystone Pipeline. Ooh, I forgot to send that tweet response. Closing down the Keystone Pipeline was like really dumb, because it's like, well, you don't just stop importing oil when you shut down a pipeline or block a pipeline permit. Oh no, that shit gets transported on rail car, on tanker cars or tank cars. So not a great thing, because those things, when they crash, they kind of go on fire and make a hot mess. I'm working on a project for Star Trek, or I would. Okay, that's okay, Stark. I appreciate. So this guy's kind of going and showing his proof, right? I want to see if we can find some video clips. That's what makes these things funny. What the hell is that? Okay, so we're going to see these objects by 2015. You got that? Yeah, I want to go to the guy's channel now, because we're going to have a little fun here. DJ Vonnie G needs more shit on the screen. Oh, do I? Okay, I'll work on it. I got to find... You know what sucks about Restream? I can't click on that link, bud. I got to go to the YouTube chat to do that crap. Which, I mean, I guess I should have the YouTube chat open. Oh, this is the video I was talking about. So, that's Nibiru. That's effing best observation for 2018. Are you effing serious? I wish it was Nibiru, because you know what? I'm not going to waste too much time on that. I wish it was Nibiru. You want to know why? Because if it was Nibiru, hey, what up, Snacks? You could even pop in if you want, but I know it's kind of late. I'll give you earlier notice for the next time I do this. I'm definitely doing this on Wednesdays or Thursdays, but no, I'm aiming for Wednesdays, because that's why I did it tonight. I want to keep it consistent. But I would say I find that particular example to be highly inconclusive. So I'm looking for Slim's link real quick. And while we do that, emotion doesn't respond to facts or logic. It gets more emotional. That's climate BS and the left in general. All right. Well, I don't want to like throw a whole group out with the bathwater. But I mean, in fairness, that is generally a popular narrative, and I think there's people on the left who maybe don't consume as much media or mainstream media, who form their own opinions, independent thinkers, and I respect that, because just maybe they have a disagreeable opinion that is based on something else. You know, I think I see a lot of fallacious headlines, and that's often a starting point when I play devil's advocate. I get a counter argument like, "Oh, well, why are you even why are you being conciliatory? That person is using fallacious headlines, and it's based on a presupposition." And I'm like, I get that, but it's like, if I go to argue with someone I don't agree with, do you think coming in like up front, like, or like, "Oh, you're wrong, and you use bullshit sources," is gonna be effective at winning them over? Now, granted, like, not looking to change my mindset. Oh, you're not live anymore. Well, it's good to see you, Jolly. I think I misread it. When I opened up a new tab, it said you were still live when you were no longer live. You're welcome to come on too if you want. Or if you want to come on next week or another day, we'll touch base and we'll hammer out a schedule. You know, definitely gonna schedule next week's show early so that we have it in place. What is that? The world's most powerful batteries. Okay, I thought someone was shooting up. This is great. I'm so happy that you guys can hear sound now. Oh God, he's gonna knock this guy's teeth out. I know where this is going. Nibiru, the one thing that Del Toro made more depressing. I remember that. This is the video I tried to drop before. Oh, is this the same video? Did you drop a different video? I'll click on it again. I think this is the right one. What is this guy doing? Did I miss something? Okay, wait, I'm going to pay attention. Oh, God. This is a terrible idea. No, don't knock this guy's teeth out. Oh, okay, good. He just knocked his, he knocked his ego out. Here, we'll play that part again. Wow. That's wild. Hey, what up? Excuse my loudness. What up there? I was going to call you Salty Mist just now. Wow. Let's say that again. What up, Lady Mist? Thanks for dropping in. I was about to fuse your name together with Salty Traveling Sea just now. Slim Nim, you did drop that short video before. It was successful. I'm going to watch it. Oh, that's nice. You should also check out Slim's channel. He's got content on his own channel. This is not Slim's channel, by the way, but he does have a channel. And you know what's cool? You know what's cool? I have a Stream Elements bot, and it does things. So let's see if we can crash my computer now by opening up the space engine, because I want to show you guys some beautiful stuff right now. So we're going to pop in the space engine because no animals were harmed. Oh, yeah, that's true. I did. I literally messaged Slim. I was like, hey, man, what should I put in your little headline when I post to your channel? And he's like, put this. I was like, all right, we'll do it. We'll do it. Oh, I forgot something. I don't know if Charlie's still here, but I was supposed to show people how to pimp out their streaming for Mario Kart. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn on my Nintendo, and I'm going to switch to my HDMI input, and I'm going to turn on this. And then I'm going to turn off the Discord plugin that I don't use much anymore because I have an alternative. So normally this camera here would be lined up with my gamepad, but I'm not looking to move my camera right this second. Oh, I mean, we could. Is my Nintendo even plugged in? Is this battery dead? Huh, the battery's dead. Oh, crap, I unplugged the AC adapter. That's whack. Oh, no, wait, it is on. Never mind. I stand corrected. It's on. I don't even need to plug it in. But why are we not getting high definition blah, blah, blah? Oh, I know why. I know why. Oh, there we go. Actually, I don't know why. But it works. So here's the thing that happens now. So when you're displaying static images, it's super easy to stream with good quality. Like, just, it's one of those things that's easy to do. Here, we'll put a gamepad right here. It's super easy to stream with good quality, but when you're playing Mario Kart and the car is moving around all fast and stuff, things get a little tricky. So my method is, instead of streaming directly through StreamYard, which is understandable, I use OBS with the virtual camera. But you can still use StreamYard for the audio aspect, right? You can still do that, because otherwise you got to set up a virtual audio cable. And I do want to say hello to Snorterpoopus Q Burr. Great seeing you. Hope you're doing well. Hopefully next week I have a better plan for the show and we can make it more entertaining and I can avoid going too far off topic like I did today. Although I think we covered a brevity of a gamut of issues and, you know, jumped across them in a reasonable time frame to avoid, you know, slinging offense around. But anyway, this is, you know, this is the game coming to my Elgato. And if we go to my right side monitor and you look at the OBS, I apologize for the picture in picture in picture in picture in picture in picture. Here, I'll fix that right now. There we go. So the left side is the Nintendo, right? So when I use OBS to take the Elgato input, right, and I stream it, the way I do it is I turn on the virtual camera. And then when you go to StreamYard, instead of picking your webcam, you pick an item called the OBS virtual camera. Once we do that, I mean, before we even get to that step, when you first open up OBS and set it up, you got to do two primary things. You got to go to the video tab under settings, right? We clicked on settings down here, and you got to put your resolution in. Now, I typically keep it at 1080p, 1920 by 1080 at 60 frames per second. A lot of people might do 30 frames a second. They might do 720p. They might do a 1080p canvas with a 720p output, you know, a scaled output. That can be helpful with performance. So in Stalk of Iron's case, like, you might have it set to 1080 and 1080, but if you only stream at 720, which I don't remember if you stream at 1080p or not, we can find out. We're going to find out. We are going to find out. Stalk of Iron. It's quite ironic. I get it? Iron. Anyway, okay, I'm corny. So let's take a look at Stalk's stream real quick. We want to discover. I'm having mic issues on OBS. Well, the beauty of that is, Jolly, you can use the virtual camera and then still use the microphone through StreamYard. I know it sounds wild. If you want me to do a more recorded video on that, walking through that, I'd be happy to. Oh, good. My friend Arus is on. Arus218 is playing Shantae, which has nothing to do with the girl from my high school. Oh, I took this picture. I lifted this picture from Tony, and I used it to make an animation. We definitely have to upload that video. But let's go to a recent live stream, like the most recent one, and let's take a look. And his resolution maxes out at 720. Perfect. So I got news for you, Tony. Like, if your settings look like this, and by the way, the reason I can't change them right now is because I'm, you know, using this copy of OBS to stream, so I can't change it right now. Oh, I'm sorry for the noise. Let me turn off the sound on Tony's channel. I apologize. If your resolution reads 1080p and 1080p, you might try either scaling it down, like changing the second number to 720p. And maybe, I wouldn't recommend changing both of them, but you certainly can. See, the problem with changing both of these numbers, the first one, if you change the first number, your stuff gets moved around and you have to resize it and crap. But you can undo if you make a mistake. But the bottom resolution, changing that doesn't screw anything up. So you could try that. That might help to reduce the data stream that's going on. But for Jolly, when he's streaming, like, you know, I'm guessing that when you stream the game through OBS that has mic issues, you're streaming directly from OBS, you're not using the virtual camera. I would suggest use the virtual camera. Although I do usually, like, when I know I'm going to be alone on a stream, I do stream directly from OBS. And I do that because I can get, with my current Restream subscription, I can stream at 1080p and 60 frames a second. When I use the web browser, I have to choose 60 frames a second or 1080p at 30 frames a second. Like, I can do 720 at 60, but I can't do both. So anyway, that's number one. Now, if you're streaming directly from OBS, you go to the streaming tab and basically you mess with these settings here. And a lot of times people have the bit rate really low. And to demonstrate what that looks like on an unaltered machine, we're going to open up a second copy of OBS that I have set aside for this purpose. And it is loading now. And we're going to get right into space right after this real quick. And Jolly, yeah, hit me up, message me, or you can even mention it here. Let me know what type of mic issues you have. Where's my other copy of OBS? Is it on my drawing tablet? Or is it still loading? Do I have to click it again? Might have to click it again. I'm gonna click it again. Did my computer freeze? Ah, boy. My computer froze. Alright, alright. Yep. Oh, wait, did it freeze? It didn't freeze. I think it's just being slow. Uh-oh. I don't like the way this is going. Something's acting a little sketchy right now. We're going to... Okay, good. Pray for me. It's probably because I underclocked the CPU. Okay, look. So, here's this alternate instance of OBS. And to get the microphone, I'm going to tell it to use my XLR input. And now it hears sound. And when I talk, it activates the plugin. And I definitely have to, like, edit and upload that video. It's like I'm too quiet and nobody can hear me. And it only happens in OBS, huh? Interesting. Okay, because I know like some microphones have an input knob. So for example, my USB microphone has a knob on it. And when I'm using my USB microphone, yeah, that's like the input gain. So usually you start with that one being as loud as it can be before it's too loud. In my case, I have to turn the knob on the audio interface, but it's the same thing. And then once you have the sound nice and loud and every app can hear it, then you pop into OBS, and you should make sure the VU meter is nice and loud like you see over here. Hey, what's up, Norma? It's wonderful seeing you. I hope you're doing well. I was thinking about you recently. It's good to see you. And basically like I went to I went to Texas and for a space convention, and I couldn't find my Mickey Mouse shirt until right after Norma, but I found it so I can wear it on stream next week. Whenever I do a live show, I'm gonna wear my Mickey Mouse shirt. Norma gave me a nice Disney shirt, and it has the moon on it. It looks like space stuff, so it's got like a combination of Mickey Mouse ears and space. So anyway, wait, I'm on the wrong screen, aren't I? That's weird. Oh, I know why. If you have the settings menu open in OBS and you press the Stream Deck buttons, it does what it wants. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, this is the plugin. So, yeah, I picked the audio device. I went to properties. I picked my microphone. And then this has to be maxed out. Now, from there, once again, like I said, if there's a knob on the microphone, you crank it up. If there's a knob somewhere else, you got to go somewhere else. It's connected to my headset mic, and it's picking me up from computer. Okay. So, it's like, okay, so, are you saying like, is that the microphone you normally use? You normally use the headset, right? And the headset has no volume control on it, I'm going to guess. So in your case, what you would do, Jolly, is right behind me where I'm blocking the taskbar. Wait, what the? Oh, I know why. I'm sorry, guys. I messed up. I got to turn off studio mode. There we go. Okay, now we got it. I forgot to turn that off. So anyway, yeah, you got the VU meter. You got this on max. It's got the correct microphone selected via properties. But here's the wild thing. If you go to the sound icon on the bottom right corner, where you click on the volume icon. Oh, I got to turn off my camera. You click on this volume icon here. Instead of left clicking on it, you right click on it. And you would go to sound settings, or I like to just skip straight to here. And whether you're in sound settings or you skip straight to here, essentially you're going to go to the tab that says recording. And so now the microphone that I selected here under properties is listed over in this window here. And if I double click on it and you go to levels, we have a level. Now the reason I'm showing you is that sometimes you have a knob on the microphone, but this here is like a gain limiter that happens after the knob. And so if this thing's too low, things are going to be a little wonky. But we might, even consider doing a sit down and just kind of looking it over and kind of poking at it and seeing what we figure out without breaking anything, of course, Jolly. I wouldn't, want to mess up any settings, and I'm very careful about that. So let's see here. It's like it's not connected to my headset mic, and it's picking me up from the computer. So it sounds like OBS is picking up the wrong microphone. So that should be really, 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 really simple. That should literally be this simple. Properties, right? You right click on the microphone, you right click on the VU meter down here. You click properties after right clicking on it, and you navigate to this pull down menu. And if you've never done this before, hopefully that's all it is, because it might be that simple. Because provided that you select the right device, because your sound level would sound fine on StreamYard. So it's like there should be nothing you need to do on the microphone or on the knob or anything like that. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. And now we're gonna fly into space real quick before we wrap up this stream. And yeah, I know Iron Man don't talk like that, but it looks funny and I like it because it looks funny. This is what I normally use. This is the one I did for a video demonstration for a stock, and for anybody who wants to learn how to do this, you know, I recorded a demo and I used this picture because it seemed like a good picture for like showing people how to do the Photoshop. Because originally I was going to do a video on how to set this up, but without any of the graphic design. But ultimately, I was like, I better show the graphic design aspect as well, so people will have, all of that. Yeah, I'm up for that, man. We can even do a Tech Thursday one of these days, but no, we'll touch base. You know, we got options. Either way, I'm happy to do a consultation. And not the type of consultation where you get your foot in the door and then you sell crap to people. You know, it's like, oh, free consultation. And it's like, thank you for your 5 minutes. Now, if you want to continue, it's $100 million. But anyway, let's close out OBS. Let's pop into Space Engine, the final frontier. Because we did make a thumbnail about space today. I was really, supposed to stay on topic here. But yeah, I was on Twitter. I leave a nice friendly tweet, and a person just curses me out. And I'm like, dude, I was being diplomatic. I was diplomatic to Tuvok, by the way, Tim Russ. Because he says some vitriolic tweets very frequently. And I was like, look, man, life goes on. I know he's not happy with the election result, but like, we gotta come together, find middle ground, Because I think everyone needs to find middle ground, be like, able to like, just like respectfully agree to disagree. And then maybe people can better understand each other if they can have a rational, respectful conversation. And Tim Russ didn't reply, and that's okay. I wasn't expecting an actor to reply to me. But this executive producer who worked with him on a space movie just immediately curses me out like in 3 different ways. And I'm like, first she goes, fuck yoy. She misspelled that word F-U. And I reply, hey, don't bring yoy into this. Because you literally misspelled the word you. So instead of like, understanding that, I played stupid and act like she was like, naming someone whose name is spelled the same as her misspelling. So, like a little bit of comedic trolling can be fun sometimes, It brings joy to the world, and I believe Wilton the Troll is a great inspiration in that department. So anyway, let's load up Space Engine real quick. Oh, crud. I hope this doesn't give me a gamepad issue. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Go. Shut down. Oh, wait. Should I? Is that? Okay, well, whatever. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, I don't have to open up the app twice, because that would be troublesome. Snowdub, hello. Hey, what up, Timbo? Wait, where's Timbo? I saw Timbo. Spectacular. How about you? Well, it's spectacular seeing you, man. And it's true, we do have a great audience here. I am, lucky and fortunate to be in good company. Might have DJ join my tech team. I don't know, man. That seems like some highbrow labor right there. Next thing I know, I'm working on arc reactors. I seen what happens to your arc reactor, Tony, when, it goes on overload. Like, I mean, there better be hazard pay, or you better give me a good, lead vest or something, like maybe a good lead vest and a lead-lined cup and a lead-lined jockstrap and maybe lead-lined socks because, like, I'd imagine that if you get athlete's foot while working around an arc reactor and then it gets radioactive, maybe the foot fungus mutates. I'm just guessing here. Seems logical. I think it seems quite logical. Did my game load that yet? Did it open up on the wrong monitor? Did I crash it by accident? Oh, there it is. Oh, you know what? Let's throttle up the CPU speed while we're here. Now we're going to let the computer overheat. I got my window open, so it should be fine. So now I just clicked on that power profile from earlier, and now the CPU should throttle up. Now what's cool is Space Engine is presently in a window, but we can make it into full screen like this. And then let's see if the gamepad works. And it looks like the gamepad don't work because I kind of like, oh good, it works. That's good. So, oh my goodly golly. I did something stupid the other day. We're going to reset the settings. Let's see how quickly this happens. So I kind of did something stupid yesterday. I followed some random instructions on YouTube on how to make planets look nicer. And I kind of like made it so that you can't see anything other than planets in Space Engine now. And so we just reset the settings despite how bad of an idea that is. And so instead, I think we're going to pull up a video that I recorded in Space Engine recently. And the thing we're going to open up are two items. So let's go to my bottom right monitor and let's open up the screenshots folder, because this is a really cool picture. So they have this feature called the high resolution screenshot maker or some crap like that in Space Engine. And okay, good. It's loading up right now. I just want to make sure that I open up the correct folder. Okay, good. It's the correct folder. Good. And you can see here where we have the reactor overheats when attacked. You will be issued a standard las pistol to dispatch malcontents. Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you, Tony. Just want to make sure that you're providing correct equipment, because I mean, pretty sure OSHA would not be up with this if they if I wasn't getting correct equipment. Although I'm not going to OSHA about it, I promise. I'm not a rat. I'm not a tattler. I'm not a tattletailer. So this is cool. So this is what happened was I loaded a scene in Space Engine, sort of like a preloaded scene or preloaded something that someone created or saved. And the time was synchronized where one of Saturn's moons, this is the black dot in the middle is Triton, was lined up so perfectly. And so in the scene, you're looking at it from the other angle, and you're looking at a shadow on the side of the planet Saturn, but you also see like a straight line shadow on the ring. So I came at it from a reverse angle. So the way this picture is taken, the planet is to my back, and I'm looking directly at the moon, which is obscuring or blocking the sun. I'm actually in the penumbra, I guess you call it. I think that's what they call it. The shadow is the penumbra, maybe. And yeah, it looks a bit like a pyramid. I'm not trying to go for the Illuminati triangle, but it reminds me of the Stargate. It reminds me of the point of origin symbol from Stargate, which is the symbol for the planet Earth. It also reminds me of the box art for the original movie Stargate. And I just think it looks kind of cool. Now, did that app load up yet? I think it's still loading. I think it's like doing a bunch of new stuff. Yeah, it's loading because it's doing updates. It's initializing the engine. It's doing all that stuff, yeah. And I thought this was very beautiful too, Norma, So I was like, I had to take a screenshot. So the way this works is Space Engine has something called a high resolution screenshot maker. And what it does is it just kind of like makes it so that now you have a picture file that you can zoom in on a lot. Whereas normally it would be, at a resolution that would fit on my screen properly, but you wouldn't really be able to zoom in on it like this. And so if you could use it in artwork, you could use it in other projects. Like I believe they do have a commercial license for this app, but for people like me, I'm just a content creator. I can pretty much use it in a creative manner as long as I'm not making a gajillion dollars off of it. And if I make $100,000 off of art in this app, then I'm sure I can afford the commercial license. So we got this now. So when you do reset the settings in Space Engine, you do have to then, put back in the settings. So in my case, I'm going to leave it at, I'm going to put it to my monitor's refresh rate. Even though you guys can't perceive 240 hertz, it just makes things a bit, more cooperative when you're switching between windows and apps. So that was easy. So we're already good to go. So let's go to tools. Let's go and, not tools, let's go to planetarium and load. And this is exactly what I was talking about. So we're going to go to the planet Jupiter. I'm sorry, I keep mixing them up. The planet Saturn, the car company. That's the planet where they make the cars. Does Saturn even exist anymore? The car company, not the planet. Of course, the planet exists. Here it is. Oops, I lied. That's not Triton. That's Titan. Well, anyway. Tomato, tomato, Triton, Titan. So right off the bat, you can see it there. So we're going to turn off the chat real quick. Mr. Burns takes shortcuts, so no big. Jarvis hates the fact that I don't pay him. Look, he's an artificial intelligence. I mean, he's smarter than modern day AI. He's not just a machine learning algorithm or any of that crap. I do get annoyed that, like, I think the concept of AI is like, oh crap, I did not mean to do that. I broke it. Let's do that again. I didn't break it. I just reset the time. There we go. Okay, good. We're going to hide these toolbars on the side. We're going to hide the toolbars over here. We don't need to see them. We're going to hide the exposure settings here. And I'm going to play with this. So you could see, you know, the moon. You can see these lines that represent the orbits of the various major moons. These points here are dwarf moons. You actually don't see the orbits of them unless I turn them on. But what happens is if you turn on dwarf moon orbits, things get super duper crowded. Now for reference real quick so you guys know what we're looking at, I believe we could press F8 or F1. Oops, I pressed both the wrong buttons. Right. So F1 shows you there we go. There's actually the dwarf. See, that's why we don't turn on dwarf moon orbits, because that's what they look like when you do that. And just for reference, that's the solar system, right? That's the whole thing. We're going to go back here. And we're going to get back here. And we're going to really quickly, oops, wait, let's use the gamepad. Slow down. And we're going to go into the penumbra. Before we do, we're going to do a little experiment, guys. Okay, we're going to fast forward time and see what direction things go in. Oh, it's going in the wrong direction. Oh, after I reset my audio settings, my gamepad is vibrating to the tune of the audio. Is there sound coming out of my computer? Do you guys hear any sound? Am I playing sound that I'm not aware of? Please tell me. Oh, the game has music. I'm turning off that music. I'll leave it on for you guys. You guys want the music? Let me know. I don't even hear the music, but you guys hear music? The Segmentum Solar, Cradle of Mankind. Ain't that right? Yeah, so this game has music that I don't usually use because it just... Usually... Well, I don't use the music usually because I don't even hear the music. Like, it's not showing up in OBS. Where's the... Okay, so anyway, whatever. No, you guys are not hearing the music. I'm hearing them. I'm feeling my gamepad vibrate to the music. Okay, so he's going to drop the music. There we go. Okay, now... Okay, then we're almost done, guys. I appreciate everyone hanging out here tonight while we putz around here. Oh, I see how this works. If we bring it too far in this direction, the shadow starts to steepen, I think. So we need to get this thing on a favorable angle, which I thought it already was on one, to be honest, but... Oh, there we go. See, now we're getting it. In fact, it's on a slight angle, I think. Oh, goodness gracious. That's good enough, right, guys? That's good enough. Let's just roll with it. So I just want to show you guys what we did here. So, you know, there's our penumbra. The shadow of the planet, right? We can't really fly into that anyway. And then there's the moon Titan. So, for good measure, we're going to type in the word Titan. Oh, goodness gracious. What did I just press? Okay, Titan is somewhere here. Oh, there it is. Now, what's interesting is that although I'm very confused right now because I'm, you know, and this is why I took a screenshot the other day, because I had a feeling that I would have trouble replicating this. Yep. That's right. When I did those brightness settings, I think that might have had a role to play. But I knew one way or another I would have trouble replicating the effect we had. And especially after resetting the settings, that was kind of like, not a big mistake, but a minor mistake. Because I changed so many things that I already had customized just to undo the mistake I made. But whatever, we'll play with that another time. I'm going to check real quick, though. We're going to turn off glare, because I don't think we need all of that glare. Bloom. We're going to set the star glare to maybe lens flare. Here it is. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, I'm going to be here all day if I mess with that. So I apologize, guys. We're not going to get the shadow effect. But what we can do is... Ooh, now that's beautiful. I did not see that coming right there. So let's admire that. That's kind of cool. This is almost based on more realistic brightnesses. And we can slow down the speed a lot. It's just kind of interesting, you know? I just kind of find it interesting. Now, of course, you guys might be curious what happens. Oh, yeah, I got to check the oven. Well, I put it on a timer, so that should turn it off automatically. So if you fly into the rings of Saturn like this, you get this. And it's really not perfect because it's not really, you know, there's no way, we don't have all of the objects perfectly cataloged, but it's a lot of things, sizes, they range in sizes, mostly ice and rocks that range in size from the size of a golf ball to the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. And if we pause it, it's a little easier to, oh, whoops. If I slow down my speed a lot, right, we can go right in and we can kind of like get a good look. But forget about this, right? I mean, it's like, okay, we can see these generic balls and they don't do anything really, right? Although you can slow them down a lot and get them to kind of do this. And if you're in orbit of the planet, you can synchronize your speed to match these. So there's that. Oh, speaking of synchronizing speed, I got to show one last thing. So let's get out of there. But that's cool. I'm going to play with that later on. And maybe record some clips or something. Maybe edit the video I already have. Oh, I did finish editing a video. That's good news, right? I finished editing a video that will be, I just feel like it looks off. You know what I mean? Like it just looks off. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. But it does look off. But anyway, we're going to do something real quick. We're going to go to the... Actually, we're just going to tour things. I was going to fly a ship, but we're going to avoid orbital mechanics today because that would just be a rabbit hole of insanity. And what we are going to do, however, is we're going to load something from the planetarium. This is exactly my original intent for tonight, was to load a couple of saved locations. So we're going to start with this frigid Lacrustian super aquaria. Actually, no, this is a Subterra. And this is actually just an Earth-like planet. Titan is the largest moon in the solar system. This is true. And that's why that movie, they had it. Saturn is known for her shipyards in the system 18,000 years later. This is also true, as you know. Any 40K fan knows. And thank you for reminding me. And yeah, I definitely got to do that. Will Stark, well, like I said, the oven should have turned off automatically. Will Stark Industries top DJ Ronnie's current $400 million fiscal year current salary with yeah, will I get that $400 million for every fiscal year with bigger deal as a tech lead? Well, I think 400 million is plenty. You know, I mean, like, I don't want to be greedy. Actually, we have a stock option that allows me to avoid Timbo. It allows me to avoid a lot of tax implications. I can't say more about that right now, but yeah, we got that covered. Yeah, Saturn's wide, but somebody looked off about it with the brightnesses and all of that. Yes, I am probably an hour ahead of you. I'm sure you can invent your own presses. Stop the presses! All right, so real quick. All right. So what is this? Well, I'll show you guys. We are looking at the Proxima system. Proxima Centauri is Earth's nearest star. For reference, if we were to go and really quickly type in Sol and press F1, you would see the solar system, right? We already been here, right? We were just here. And if I zoom out, oops, we got to turn off exploration mode. And we got to turn off procedural objects. Because we want an accurate representation of things as we know it. All right, sorry about the little dizziness. And you see some major stars. We see Wolf 359. This is where the Federation made its last stand against the Borg. We got Barnard's star, which I don't think has a lot of things orbiting it that are cataloged, but it's an interesting little red dwarf star system. And then the one that we are at right now is actually a next door neighbor to Alpha Centauri, which is about a half a light year further away than Proxima Centauri. It might be like a quarter light year, but bottom line is that you can see Proxima and Alpha Centauri. They're pretty darn close to each other. They're still a fair distance from one another, but they're a heck of a lot closer than anything, you know, than to each other than anything else. And our planet, our star system is about 4.5 or 4.25 light years away from Proxima, as you can see right over here. In fact, yeah, it looks like it's a quarter light year difference. So anyway, we're going to get back to Proxima, right? Because that's the one where, like, Alpha Centauri is a binary star system. It's actually not just one star. Alpha Centauri is 2 stars. Proxima is a mono, right? It's a single star. And now we're going to go back to this list here, because this list shows us the system architecture. It shows us what is in orbit. And if we do, like, let's see, size, mass, density, temperature, architecture. So right off the bat, you got this planet which has super duper rings. We're certainly going to get a good look at that one. But what I'm interested in going over is, well, which planets are habitable? Which ones can, we possibly support our own life on? And well, this one here has a mass of 1.07 that of Earth, and it's got a diameter of 1.03 of our own planet. So it's not much bigger, and the gravity should not be any more or significantly more. It's a meaningfully fractional difference. Like it might be a decimal point more gravity, right? And obviously we don't have real data showing how much detail there is. And even to get a blurry picture, like a blurry picture of what we see here, would require quite a large telescope. But, like I'm talking something that you'd have to deploy in space. But, as it is now, we have enough spectroscopy to know that it's got H2O and apparently salt, probably sodium chloride in a ocean. Because apparently salt is one of those elements that end up in the ocean pretty darn, frequently, and just ends up like there's no way to keep an ocean free of salt. Basically, that's sort of like, there are no rentals or leases in my name except for the ones that I rented at Blockbuster in the 90s that I copied. Just saying. So anyway, that's what we're looking at here. It's got a big fat ice cap. I don't know if we actually know it has an ice cap or if this is an artistic representation, but is it worth 5 light years? Take about 4.25 light years, right? So if you use a nuclear engine or something like that and we could push ourselves to 1/10 the speed of light, right? It would take still 10 times longer to get there. So what, 50 years? That's within a lifespan. If you have a ship that can carry the water and the air, maybe a ship that has a regulating system, sort of like a ship that's so big that you can have plants on it, or a ship so big that you can, replicate the processes that occur on Earth. Sort of like in the movie Independence Day Resurgence, when they board the alien ship and there's literally water in there. And if you think about it, if you're going to spend 100 years on a ship with multiple generations, it makes sense to have water and plants on the ship. It's like plants can do things that we can't get machines to do reliably and effectively. Plants can do things with like solar energy more efficiently than anything else. Like they have this form of quantum tunneling where sunlight hits the surface of the leaf and somehow it makes its way to the layers inside the leaf magically. Because like it shouldn't be able to be that effective. The energy of the sun should not make it to the middle layer of a leaf and be just as effective as if it was touching the outside. So apparently it is, and I'm definitely describing it wrong, but it is a form of quantum tunneling. So it's pretty wild stuff right there. Like nature has a lot of these weird, manifestations of weird physics in just normal mundane things. So real quick now, let's go and take a look at that last planet. And we're going to just go fast. Now, this one's on a very far orbit, as you can see. And that's a good question. Oh, my chat is scrolling. Remember, a hot dog with mustard and relish and ketchup is declared a full meal. You can think of, and you can thank Ronald Reagan for that one. Well, mustard does have some, it's got vinegar, it's got salt. It's got some other crap in it. It's probably got some, vegetable oil in there, right? Oh, side note. I'm just messing around, of course. But side note, this is the camera flash that I meant to bring to Texas. I did not bring this to Texas, but I meant to bring this to Texas. I bought the broken one to Texas and couldn't use it. But dang, I was really looking forward to using a vintage flash bulb unit. And the way this works is, I know it's just random, but it's something I had on my desk that my attention span just caught. It's like one of those old school press bulb flashes or whatever. And so, I got to order more flash bulbs anyway. But next time I go on a big trip, I will bring the correct flash unit with me because I like this one. It's made of plastic, so I'm not afraid of getting electrocuted by it. Whereas the metal one scares the crap out of me. Getting back, okay, so Timbo says, what if I told you Proxima Centauri is actually a highly condensed ball of my pocket lint, spinning at approximately 35,000 RPM that has been sucked through a black hole in my pocket? I would say speak to Slim because he he's the one who introduced me to Katamari Damacy, and I believe that's how that works. In Katamari, you use a Katamari ball to pick up random objects, to declutter things, and then as they clump together, you go and you hang out with the what is it, the god of the universe, the emperor of the universe, or the emperor of Earth, and he, basically throws it out in the cosmos if it doesn't pass the test, and then it becomes something in space. So that makes a lot of sense in terms of Katamari. It really does. Hey, what up, Peter Venkman fan site? It's good to see you. Relish gross face, blue smiling face. See, that's why I gotta switch the way I present chat. I like being able to click on it this way, but the other way of doing it, is dropping a link. Are you doing a stream? Wait, right after this, let me know. I want to make sure we, promote you. The Orion project would work very well with an internal acceleration method via small atomic device timed discharge. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I misread that. Let me say that correctly. The Orion project would work very well with an inertial acceleration method via a small atomic device timed discharge. Exactly. In fact, I have Orion engines in this game. I do. But real quick, we admire these rings. Unfortunately, the exposure is a little bit such that it's hard to admire them sometimes. But you can see this planet here has a big fat ring on it that just goes way out there. And something I neglected to point out was Saturn's rings. They have a crap ton of shepherd moons inside of them, but no big deal. My mouse just froze. I think we're frozen. All right, we're ending the stream, guys. I don't know if you can hear me, but I think this is a great time to end the stream. I will join my own stream through my phone, just so I can say goodbye to you guys. That is so weird, isn't it? Like, look at that. We were doing so well. I wish I knew what the causality factor. This time, I'm not turning my computer off. I'm going to let it freeze up and let the Windows log generate a log entry to tell me why it crashed. All right, I'm joining my own stream. I'm joining my own stream right now. Loading. Can anybody hear me? Loading. Come on. Alrighty, yeah, so we ran into it. Wait, is it still working? Dude, my computer froze. And okay, yeah, it's not working anymore. Okay, good. So yeah, that's interesting. But we have a cool background. So yeah, we're gonna wrap this up in a second, but I haven't used this in the browser ever. So I don't know how this works, but we're gonna figure this out. Oh, there's the chat. Is my phone connection that bad? I don't know. Is it? How bad is it? Yeah, I'm just looking at the chat. Thank you, Lady Mist. Oops. Must be the fourth Doctor in his pockets, getting tons of crap in them. The wings of power. We can hear you. You have audio. Oh, I still wait. Does the other microphone? Well, I just switched audio now, but yeah, I'm gonna let the computer just kind of do its thing and see how long it takes to crash. Maybe open up the computer again and give it a proper dusting. I know, right? You want to think? You want a funny ending? Some months ago, I was what was I doing? I was opening up I was looking at the entire known universe in Space Engine, and it caused my computer to run out of RAM and crash. And I did it kind of just for kicks. But anyway, that's how I ended that stream. And then I did like a recap after the stream was over, which was kind of pointless because I already told people I was going to crash my computer. But later on, I figured out there's a way to look at the entire known universe in Space Engine without eating up all of the RAM in your computer. Like it's got like an alternative way to do it. So I was like, okay, that was cool. And then I also decided to turn on virtual memory, which I usually, when you have a lot of RAM, it's not uncommon for people to turn off their virtual memory, and this is just a thing that people do because, like, why even have it on if, like, the RAM is so fast and you're not using all of it. But when you start running applications that do exceed your maximum RAM, it's probably better just leave virtual memory on. It's called swap. Swap is sort of like where it borrows from the hard drive or even the modern day SSD when there's not enough RAM. Swap was used a lot more commonly in the 90s when every computer literally didn't have enough RAM to do basic stuff. So just opening up an application would exceed your RAM and then it would cut into the swap file. So what it would do is you'd minimize an application, it would put it in the swap file on the hard drive, and then the application you're opening would use up your RAM. And then if you open up the other app again, maximize it, it would take the app that was in your RAM, put it into the swap file because now it's going into the background anyway, like you can't see it on your screen, and it would load the data from the hard drive's swap file for the other app. And so doing anything on a computer in the 90s, it would constantly make like clicking sounds because the read write heads on the hard drives would always have to be going back and forth with the swapping. So not an issue today really, but one of the reasons why, it's like if we live in an era where RAM is cheap and affordable, I'd rather just buy a ton of RAM and not use a swap file at all. Why relive the 90s if you can avoid it? I was trying to click on the chat on my screen. But I think we're good here, so we're going to wrap it up. Yeah, the pizza, like I said, the oven turned off automatically, Slim, but I appreciate that. I should check the pizza anyway. I might have to turn the oven back on and just give it a quick. I'll put it under the broiler to save some time, just give it a quick broiling, like get that flame. Yeah, now my computer didn't crash yet. I don't know if I should turn it off or leave it on. The computer's still working. You know what I'm going to do? I got an idea because it's actually very interesting. The computer looks like it's still working. I wouldn't be surprised if I could log into it remotely. Oh yeah, Zax is streaming right now. If you guys like Zax, you should check out Zax. But like I see the hard drive light blinking periodically. It looks like the computer is still alive. So we're gonna leave the computer on, even though because I thought it was a heat issue. But if it is a heat issue, I'm gonna bet you it's the secondary GPU. So what I might do is dust the GPU and take it out and put it back in just to kind of reseat the connection and see what happens. I'm assuming you've already ran basic task manager, watched what's so yeah, that's that's a good point. I mean, look, if I fail to rule out the other causes, I'll do it again. But certainly it's easier to dust the computer and reseat the graphics card than it is to like reinstall the OS, right? And it's easier to check task manager than it is to just, do nothing. So I'm with it, man. I like your logic. That's a good idea. Fully customized handle the crap it did without dying after a pre-collapse upgrade. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna describe a computer that had a handle, like those LAN party computers where you grab the handle and you can lug it to your friend's house to play games. It's thinking. It's a classic. Oh, it is. I just heard it go. It's doing stuff. I'm not turning it off. I'm leaving it. I want to see how long this goes. I'm actually, after this is over, I'm going to open up remote access while I'm in the kitchen and see if I can log in remotely. Okay, let's get the rest of the chat. I'm going to acknowledge every last chat. Oh, it's not clicking. Oh, there we go. I'm just doing it wrong. Light some incense. Oh, yeah, good. I do have a candle here. You know what? We're going to light the candle when I come back upstairs because I am not lighting the candle and leaving the room. Not going to happen. I am not lighting a candle and walking out of the room, but I got a candle here. This is a candle we used on the night we, commemorated Tron. And I know it's a little cheesy to light a candle, but, I lit it in his honor. That's what people do. They light candles, and I still have the candle. I use it for other things, too. The new case did have a handle. Nice. I got this one crappy Dell program that can't be deleted. I can't read it. And sometimes it just takes up 32 gigs of RAM instantly. There is a way. There is a way, my friend. And I know you'll figure it out. So depending if it's the app called Dell Support Assist, you should absolutely be able to uninstall that. and that should be in the add remove programs thing. If you do Windows key R, like you literally hold down the Windows logo and you tap the letter R on your keyboard, and you type the word appwiz, APPWIZ, .cp add remove programs window, and then just find it. Okay, I was just sniffing the pizza out. And if not, leave me a comment and maybe we could figure something out. Alienware Control Center. There's got to be a way to remove that. I don't believe anything can't be removed, you know. And if nothing else, gut it. You know, you can go into services.msc. Something you can right click on the start menu and go to where it says services, or you can go and open up the word services.msc using the search button or the run box and look for that and disable the service and make it so that it doesn't start up automatically. So that is my last bit of technical advice for the night, I think. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would but yeah, if you have enough, close it manually, there is a way to disable it from starting up. You might even be able to do it from the startup tab in Task Manager if you do the advanced view. So, you know, more details, and then go to the tab that says startup. Depending on if you're running Windows 10 or 8, or if you're running an older version of Windows, then obviously Windows 7 is going to be a little different than Windows 8. But generally, everything from Windows 10 through 11 is basically the same. Although Windows 11, they changed a couple of things just to be dicks about it. I just waved one of these over. It works to keep. Yeah, I know. We got to do like a video where we talk about installing RAM, so you have like options there. Because I remember, but you seem to just take good care of your computer, Lady Mist. That's a big factor too, I'm sure. I know where it is. It's just part of Dell's programming, and it causes too many other issues if you delete it. Bullshit. I call bullshit. I'm not calling you bullshit. I'm just saying that I believe where there's a will, there's a way. But jokes aside, I'm gonna look into that. Actually, I don't. I'm speaking a little bit out of ignorance. Like, I have experience, but then it's like that specific app. I feel like that's something I did disable back when I worked at Best Buy, like on the regular too. What is that called again? It's called Dell program, and it said something about Alienware, I believe, right? Alienware Control Center poop. Okay, so I got to Google Alienware Control Center poop. Got it. AWCC Alienware Control Center. I've already looked it up. Just got to shut it down. No, there's no way that it can cause issues by disabling it. I don't buy that. Like, I don't understand that at all. Unless it's a laptop, then maybe it makes sense. But a desktop, and I could be wrong. I'll look into it too. You know, maybe you did look into it and you confirmed that what I'm about to look into, is impossible. But I'm still curious. I'm still going to look into it because, like, I just find it difficult to believe unless I'm overlooking something, and I want to know what that something is. I'm not willing to throw in the towel without knowing why I'm throwing in the towel. And at that point, I wouldn't be throwing in the towel because then I would understand the issue. But I highly suspect there is a way. Clicked on it again. Okay. I'm waiting for it to load. Hello, I hear you, dude. There's some components we can delete, but unfortunately, this annoying thing we can't. Why? What does it disrupt? We're not going to talk circularly here. We're going to wrap it up here now. Jokes aside, man, I'll research it. I'll let you know what I learn. I'm not saying that I'm not saying it's absolutely possible, but I'm not willing to say it's impossible. And I suspect that if there's a reason that you genuinely can't do it, maybe we could figure out what the additional countermeasure is, right? So it's like, okay, can't disable it because if you disable it, this happens. Okay, but then what is this that happens? Once we know what this is that happens, then we go and we address that. So I'll investigate both angles and see what we find out. And with that being said, we're not using the outro tonight because apparently, like, it doesn't get my channel struck. It just makes it so that if I ever get monetized, every live stream that uses that outro doesn't get money. So yeah, we're not going to do that. I'm going to update the outro for next week and not use it. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching. If anybody watching on the replay has any questions, comments, ideas, or concerns, or if anybody who I said should leave a comment about anything wants to leave a comment, by all means do. And with that being said, we once again, I thank you for watching, and we shall now end transmission as soon as I click this button, I guess. I got it. Thank you, and thank you. I appreciate that, Timbo and Metal Storm, whom I always see on my friend Arus's channel, Arus218. You should check him out if you like games. That's ARUS218. I would post a link, but I don't have a keyboard and I didn't update my stream elements. And I'm just gonna take a screenshot of my phone screen. And now we're gonna go and you want me to do a RIP outro? Oh no, you mean RIP? Yes, rest in peace, Gundam Seed outro. I am gonna try to use the outro, but I'm gonna edit it and see if I can find a way to make it so the music doesn't get detected. I have a couple of tricks up my sleeve. And once again, lovely seeing you, Lady Mist. Thanks for hanging out. It's good seeing the Peter Venkman fan site. It's good seeing everyone who hang out. And Slim, I don't know if you streamed recently, and you're not obligated to, but it's good to see you. I'm glad I at least bump into you in chat, man. But yeah, happily I'll tune in when I see you on, whenever I see you on, and I'm awake and I don't have work in the morning. So with that being said, thank you for watching, and we shall now hereby end transmission as soon as I press this button that will probably ask me to confirm what I'm pressing.